earlier in the week. So let's get started. Good afternoon. This is Ifan from the Strategic Day Trader, and this is your market wrap for May 10th, 2019. Qs were able to rally back, actually up 0.12, and the SPY up 0.5% here. Let's take a look at this rally here. Okay, rallied back on the SPY, rallied back on the Qs. And so going into today, we had a bearish bias, right? We had a bearish bias. The sell-off did get to target. Okay, we saw the same thing happen here that we saw the previous day. Okay, which is the hourly sell setup got sold, hourly sell setup got sold. So hourly downtrend this week, right? We had Monday's rally, and then after Monday's rally, I thought the market was very easy to read. That we got this gap down, got the follow through, and we said if this rallies back, especially to the 20 MA, that would be a good location. And we break on the hourly, a previous bar's low, bearish. Okay, next morning, bearish follow through, right? And then next sell setup, or if we base and break down, those are the two setups that we would look for as shortable opportunities. We set up the sell setup triggered. Okay, and I said if we break above that high, yesterday's high, then we will be neutral. Otherwise, stay bearish. We came into today bearish, new lows there as far as this week. Okay, but then after lunch, we got a very strong rally. Okay, and so sticking with the same analysis, the same line in the sand, we actually did clear yesterday's high, right? That was the area where we would need to shift back to a neutral bias. Okay, so it did break above. So that's where we are going into Monday. All right, so what would it take for us to now go to a bullish bias, right? If we base up here and break out, okay? Or if we run up more and then do a pullback, that pullback should be viable. Okay, so if we rally up and then pull back, right, that's a viable pullback. Or if we base and break out, that breakout will be viable. Okay, what would it take for us to go back to a bearish bias? I'd have to see some kind of selling, and then on the next setup, we would have to come in. So as you can see, basically for both, we need to see something a little bit more because we just broke the hourly downtrend. So now we look like we put in a bottom. And I think it's important to look at the daily here and notice the big bottoming tail, the multiple bars down, and then potentially looking like could be higher. Now that was the thing about why we discussed every single day, even though we were bearish, what it would take to lose that bearish bias, to shift away from that bearish bias, because the market's strong, right? So we're working inside of a little bit of a counter trend the last few days, but the bigger picture, right, is higher. Okay, so the weekly here, we've seen this before, right? Just because it rallies, breaks below, right, that this kind of grind here is very hard to get a nice sell-off, okay? You know, this, and we've been saying that since this came in, and I think at this point is probably when I think the most people got maybe hurt by trying to be aggressively short on this week in March. We had a nice grind. It was a very tough grind to sell off into because the reason that it's a grind and the reason that it's not extending up or getting wide bars is because people are doubting it, right? So as long as there is two-way action as this continues to chug along, it's pretty healthy and this can be maintained, right? Which is exactly what we got being maintained. And notice the angle stayed the same. So you have to realize that these sell-offs are probably not going to fall apart right away. If there is going to be follow through, it's going to take some time, right, to work its way through all this support that gets created. So only the second red week that we've had this year, but it's also in the context of this strong uptrend that we've had. So I don't really think it's a sign of persistent weakness to come. I think it was just getting a pullback in the market and back retesting the support. So if we break above today's high, that's going to be, and we really already broke above yesterday's high. So bullish on the long term and neutral on the short term. Okay, I know I spent a lot of time already going over the short term because I know in the strategic day trader, our focus is on day trades. And so we really care more about what's going to happen in the next hours and days and less so about the next days and weeks. But based on this daily, we're looking at the next days and weeks, this really looks like higher. So bullish on the long term and neutral in the short term. Okay, we are shifting out of the bearish bias that we had because this rally ended the downtrend. Okay, could it resume? Yes, we'll have to see a sell-off, the next entry, and then in order for the bullish bias to remain, we'll have to see a bit more follow through to this rally, and then on the next pullback, we can play it long, or if it decides to just base out, we can play the breakout. Okay, all right, so hopefully you did well today. I thought what was most encouraging about today was that we saw the bullies and berries back, which is nice, which is when a gap down gets bought, clears the resistance, right? These you expect them to close near the highs. Okay, we had the QNST, we had the CDLX, right? And these were bullish even before the market got the rally, so that told you these had relative strength. There was some follow through to the short side. I think they probably all got picked up as the market had that really impressive rally, but you can see this still closing down, gapped up and got sold, found its way to support. So I haven't seen these all that much, at least not high quality ones. So I did think today, surprisingly, we got quite a few that were pretty good. So I'll be looking for those next week. It's my newest, most recently developed strategy, but it's also out of the strategies that I do, maybe the most rare. But they're very powerful because what happens is that on something like this QNST, is that this gap down serves to shake out some longs who are worried about this gap down going against them even more. And then the shorts who are thinking this gap is pretty good, that whatever the bad news is going to get follow through. Both those people are left in a position to either buy back their long or cover their short. And so that's why you get this nice follow through once it breaks through that resistance, right? Shorts might be looking at a position that quickly goes negative and goes against them or takes out their stop, and then longs are watching this go without them, and so that obviously is painful as well. So you get pretty good follow through. We'll see if we get more, but we still have another week or two, I think, of earnings. Hopefully we can still get some good gaps even after that, but looking forward to next week. Okay, hope you had a good week, and we'll be back at it on Monday. We'll see what the market brings us then. All right, have a great weekend, everyone.